Welcome to another Clean Machine Live. My name is Geoff Palmer. I'm the CEO and founder of Clean Machine. What does D3 have to do with physical fitness? Well, we're going to look at a couple of studies and I'm going to show you exactly why vitamin D3, or rather hormone D3, is essential not only for physical fitness, immune health, but actually athletic recovery too. So really important. But before we get started, this video is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Okay, so let's take a look at the first study. Study was done in 2020. And the title of the study is The Role of Vitamin D in Athletes and Their Performance, Current Concepts and New Trends. Okay, there's the link to the study below. And let's jump right into what the study has to offer. So vitamin D is important in skeletal muscle growth, immune, and cardiopulmonary functions in inflammatory modulation, which influence athletic performance. So as we can see all the way across the board from immune health, because remember, when you do really intense physical fitness training, whether you're doing weights or you're swimming or endurance athlete, or you're doing soccer or basketball or sports, whatever, if you're intensely exercising, you actually lower the immune system a little bit because the immune system then becomes engaged in detoxifying the body. So you want to make sure that you have a healthy recovery response for your immune system so that you don't get sick or make yourself more susceptible to infections and viruses and stuff like that, where your immune system would be at a low peak. I'm wondering if a lot of people going to the gym, myself included, lowering their immune system and being around a lot of other people and then touching a lot of other equipment that other people are touching, that this can be actually a breeding ground. This is why I always take vitamin D3 on a regular basis, and of course wash my hands afterwards. Okay, but let's jump into a little bit more of the details of the study. So it said vitamin D, actually I just read that, so let's do the next one. This is the next study. So the next study is a 2021 study, and vitamin D in athletes, focus on physical performance and musculoskeletal injuries. So this is really interesting. They're actually talking about how D3, those with sufficient amounts of D3, are actually having better recovery periods so that they be able to get back into the gym, back into strength training, or back into playing a sport sooner. Now, for professional athletes, it's going to be very important. This is why this particular study was focused on professional athletes and looking at how well they can recover and prevent musculoskeletal injuries. Now, we all know that vitamin D3 is important for bone health and for bone strength, but it's also for muscular strength. And when you combine that, you want strong bones and strong muscles because they can connect. So every time you have a muscle contracts and expands, but it is tied to bone at both places. That's where it's bound to. All muscles connected to bone, so that it can contract and connect, with the exception of maybe the tongue, which is a free muscle that just does its own thing. But most musculoskeletal muscle, is attached to the skeleton or to bone tissue. So having strong bone and strong muscle and tendons there is really important. Okay, so what did this study find? Low vitamin D levels have been demonstrated to have negative effects on muscle strength, muscle power, and endurance. So vitamin D3 is not really a vitamin, it's a hormone. I would call it a vitamin. But D3 is really important for muscle strength, muscle power, and muscle endurance. So this is showing that it's not only just bone health or immune health. We're talking actual physical muscle health and muscle performance, and this is just D3. Well, it goes on to say, increase stress fractures, that's the bone, obviously, other musculoskeletal injuries, and an effect in acute muscle injuries and inflammation when you are in high intensity exercises. So this is really important that you could get stress fractures with insufficient D. You can get musculoskeletal injuries to not just the bone, but the muscle, and affect acute muscle injuries that need the D3 to help in the recovery process during intense training. So the conclusion of the study says that vitamin D is a potential nutritional factor that can significantly affect physical performance and muscular injuries in athletes. So how much do they need to bring you to sufficiency? You need to get out of deficiency and into sufficiency. So the study, and all these are quotes, as you can see the quotes around there. The study showed 2,000 to 6,000 IUs of daily vitamin D is recommended for athletes. Okay, so why the variation? One is going to depend on gender. It's going to depend on your body weight. And it's going to depend on the amount of fat you have. Now, remember, D3 is fat soluble, so it can get soaked up by the fat. And if you're carrying a little extra body fat, you may need actually a little bit more extra D3. That's why I went right smack in the middle of this to 4,000, which pretty much covers almost everyone, whether you have darker skin. If the more melanin you have in your skin, the more vitamin D3 you're actually going to need because you're predisposed to have lower conversions of vitamin D3 to its bioactive form, 25-OH. Okay, so if you are in a northern climate, you're going to need higher amounts of D. So the typical 2,000 should go up to 4,000. If you carry a little bit more body fat, you're going to need probably about 4,000 IUs. If you are darker skin color, blacks or Hispanics, you're going to need a little bit more than somebody who's Caucasian with a lighter skin because they have less melanin, which would interfere with D3 conversion. So those are the considerations broadly, significantly. And if you're indoors, obviously a lot, and especially if you're playing indoor sports, even more concern for vitamin D deficiency. Okay, so why, actually just closing with these studies, and you can see it in the green, I always put the studies down below in the green, the last line, that vitamin D functions as a modulator for as many as 2,000 genes in the human body. Some of those genes involved in cellular growth, that's even muscle growth, immune function, and protein synthesis. Obviously, you can't grow muscle cells without protein synthesis, but you can't repair cells either. This is why it's really important for muscular injury. An injury can be a sprain, a slight tear. It may be an injury that occurs that you're not even aware of, that could actually manifest later as a more severe injury if it's a minor injury and you're just not even sure that it's happened. So vitamin D, really important across the board, over 2,000 genes involved in its effects on the body. So broad spectrum. Okay, so why vitamin D3 and then what type of vitamin D3? Well, obviously I'm a vegan, so I choose a vegan D3. And there are several sources of vegan D3. One is mushrooms. Now, mushrooms and lichen are two of the more common ones. And this was the only thing we had in the vegan offerings for a long time, for many, many years. I never brought one to market, even though I used a lichen vitamin D3, because they're not purified. Most of the ones that I looked at were not pure versions of vitamin D3. And this means they can have actually vitamin D2 in them. So many in the fungi kingdom, including algae, can produce vitamin D2, but when exposed to more sunlight, like mushrooms, if you expose them to direct sunlight, they can start producing vitamin D3 as a reaction to the direct sunlight, similar to the way humans react to vitamin D3 in producing it from direct sunlight. But those can have vitamin D2 in them. And the vitamin D2 is about 1/3 as effective as vitamin D3. So when I found a vitamin D3 that was vegan, but was pure, 100% pure D3 cholecalciferol. This is the real true D3 that we need and use, and is no different from the D3 that we produce and that animals produce. So I was like, wow. And I found out it was organic. And I was like, yes, this is what I want. So this is what I chose to come to market with. I was one of the very first companies to come to market with it. It is USDA certified vegan D3 and it is 100% pure algae vitamin D3. So it is a purified D3 from organic algae, and it's dual certified organic. It's certified by USDA, as you can see right there by my finger, as well as EcoCert certified. Has increased bioavailability. So they put it to the test. And they said, well, okay, does this D3 really work as effectively as typical D3s that you would get from animal products? And in a human study, Veg D3, that's the source of the D3 that we use in our product, increased vitamin D plasma levels by 77%. Now that's awesome. And in the same study, the subjects, human subjects, went from vitamin D deficient to vitamin D sufficient in just 7 days. Now that's fast acting as far as it goes in the D3 supplementation category. So this is really good news. 1, it's vegan. 2, it's pure, 100% pure vegan D3. No impurities, no D2 possibility in it. It's not from mushrooms or lichen, which may contain other impurities, including vitamin D2. It's USDA and EcoCert certified organic. It's 4,000 IUs. I wanted to make sure we had enough in there to cover every type of person. And it's backed by human research. So this is what I'm proud to bring to market. Only the best of the best. I was one of the very first to bring Veg D3 to market, and I'm really proud of that fact. And it's the only D3 I will sell. That's what I want for you, the best in health. If you're an athlete, if you're into physical fitness, or if you're training or doing any exercise at all, please make sure. Check out my other videos on YouTube at Clean Machine Online for more information about how powerful D3 is for immune health and why that's so important in this age where viruses can be a very big concern for human health and well-being. D3 is now almost universally understood as a definite support in immune health. So check out my other videos on it. I break it all down for you. The science is there, the research. I cite all the studies for you to check out the studies and research as well. So also, if you're watching this, well, I'll just say, check out, you can go to Clean Machine Online right now and possibly get a great deal on the Vegan D3, certified organic Vegan D3, the first from 100% pure algae. Thank you for watching and stay healthy, friends.